Has he shared what that contact will look like? What is the actual
Well, he said it will go in phases.
Contact?
It will go in phases. A lot of it has to do with what they believe contact should look like. On Earth, we have a lot of these ideas about what we think contact will look like, but we tend to forget that the ETs have their own agenda too about what it really would look like, because he's done this before with other civilizations. He's a first contact specialist. We're not the only civilization he's in touch with. So a lot of the way contact is going to unfold is going to come from the way they believe it should unfold for our benefit. It's really hard to say. He said it will happen slowly in phases. The general window of contact is sometime between now and the next 2 decades. He has recently said, which is very rare for him to do, to make a prediction, but he has said that sometime at the end of 26, the beginning of 27, there may be a major UFO event that will start turning things around for us. So we'll wait and see if that comes to pass. He very rarely makes predictions because he says the only time he will do that is when he feels there's so much momentum in our society behind an idea that it's unlikely to change. So he's saying it's probably over a 90% probability that this will happen. He's only ever really made, well, he's made a few, but he's only really made 2 really solid, unchangeable predictions as long as I've known him in the 40 years that he's done this. The first one, and it was recorded, is I believe it was in 98. He actually said that by the end of 2001 there would be a terrorist attack in New York. And he said more recently that based on the elections in America, he said after 2016 everything would change. And obviously that's true. When he says there may be something at the end of 26, the beginning of 27, we'll see.
Is it possible that that contact would happen in a biological body form, or is this more of a psychic level, or? Well,
it's both. In other words, number one, the information coming through the channeling is a phase of contact.
Right, exactly.
Because he's saying, what are you doing with the information we're giving you? Is that something that gets you in the direction where you say, yes, we want this to continue. Yes, we want to have more physical contact. So that's number one. There are also contacts happening in dream states so that it's less scary for us.
Sure, exactly.
To have a dream connection with them. And so that's a phase of contact as well, because their consciousness can bridge those things and introduce ideas in our dream state that we can then take the time to incorporate into our reality in a way that we're comfortable with. But ultimately, yes, physically. But I know that no matter what people think, we're not ready for it. And he's explained very strongly why, because I actually had a dream communication with him about this many years ago where he demonstrated this to me. And in the dream, I saw his ship land, I saw him get out, I saw him walk toward me. And when he got about 20 feet away, I lost my identity. I saw my body through his eyes and my body jerked away. And he said, this is why. Because their vibrational frequency is so much higher than ours. They come across almost like you're having an encounter with spirit. And he said your physical body, your survival mechanism interprets that energy as if you are going to die. And so you go into survival mode, you go into flight or fright. And it's almost like you can't help it, because your body is reacting to the energy as if your body is dying, because you're now presented with spirit energy in physical form. And it's like, no, I'm not ready. So he's basically saying, when you raise your vibration, when you meet us halfway, that's when contact will happen, when you no longer fear death. Because we represent death to you, because we represent a complete change of your society, a complete change of all your ideas. And also just energetically, you have to elevate yourself to understand that you are spirits. You know, you're more than the human body, you're more than a human being.
What does Bashar say about death?
Well, it's where we are. In other words, that's where we live. We are in spirit right now. It's basically like stepping from one room to another.